Visualizing solid shapes.
Introduction. In this chapter, we learn about solid-shaped figure, anything that occupies space and has three dimensions as length, breadth, and height. Depth is called a solid or a three-dimensional figure. Study the given examples. A cuboid is a three-dimensional solid shape. Plane figures and solid shapes. In our day-to-day life, we see several objects like books, balls, ice cream cones, etc. around us, which have different shapes. One thing common about most of these objects is that they all have some length, breadth, and height or depth. Three-dimensional shapes. Those objects which have occupied space called three-dimension objects. Hence, they are called three-dimensional shapes. Study the given examples. Some of the three-dimensional shapes, that is, solid shapes, are given below: cylinder, sphere, cuboid, cube, cone, and pyramid, etc. Two-dimensional plane figures. We can say figures drawn on paper which have only length and breadth are called two-dimensional, that is, plane figures. Study the given examples. Some of the two-dimensional shapes, that is, solid shapes, are given below. Rectangle, circle, triangle, square, quadrilateral, etc. Faces, edges, and vertices. Faces, vertices, and edges of a three-dimensional figure are part of a solid. Faces. Each flat part of a solid is called its face. Face. Vertices. Each corner where three faces of solid meet is called its vertex. The plural of vertex is vertices. Edges. The two faces of a solid meet in a line called an edge. Edges. Look at the following solids. We shall discuss about the faces, vertices, and edges of some three-dimensional figures having flat faces. Cuboid. A solid bounded by 6 rectangular plane faces is called a cuboid. A cuboid has 6 faces. A cuboid has 8 vertices. A cuboid has 12 edges. Study the given examples. A box, a matchbox, a book, a brick, a tile, etc. Cube. A cuboid whose length, breadth, and height are equal is called a cube. A cube has 6 faces. A cube has 8 vertices. A cube has 12 edges.
Study the given examples.
Dice, sugar cubes, ice cubes, etc. Prism. A solid whose 2 faces are parallel, plane polygons, and the side faces are rectangles is called a prism. Triangular prism. A triangular prism is made up 2 parallel end faces, each one of which is a triangle, and 3 lateral faces, each one of which is a rectangle. A triangular prism has 2 triangular faces and 3 rectangular faces. A triangular prism has 6 vertices. A triangular prism has 9 edges.
Study the given examples.
Triangular prism. A cuboid is also called a rectangular prism. Nets for building 3D shapes. A net is a skeleton outline of a solid that can be folded to make it. The same solid can have several types of nets. A net of a 3-dimensional figure is the shape that can be cut out of the plain piece of paper or cardboard and folded to make the 3-dimensional shape.
Study the given examples.
Given below is the net of a cuboid of length is equal to 3 cm, breadth is equal to 2 cm, and height is equal to 1 cm. The given figure is the net of a pyramid. Fold these faces to make pyramid. You have different nets for different shapes. Copy enlarged versions of the nets given and try to make the 3D shapes indicated. You may also like to prepare skeleton models using strips of cardboard fastened with paper clips. Formation of cube from net of cube. Formation of cylinder from net of cylinder. Formation of cone from net of cone. Drawing solids on a flat surface. Your drawing surface is paper, which is flat. When you draw a solid shape, the images are somewhat distorted to make them appear 3-dimensional. It is a visual illusion. 2 types of sketches of a solid are possible. Oblique sketches. Here is a picture of a cube. It gives a clear idea of how the cube looks like. When seen from the front, you do not see certain faces. In the drawn picture, lengths are not equal as they should be in a cube. Still, you are able to recognize it as a cube. Such a sketch of a solid is called an oblique sketch. Let us attempt to draw an oblique sketch of a 3 × 3 × 3. Each edge is 3 units cube. Step 1. Draw the front face. Step 2. Draw the opposite face. Sizes of the faces have to be same, but the sketch is somewhat from step 1. Step 3. Join the corresponding corners. Step 4. Redraw using dotted lines for hidden edges. It is a convention. The sketch is ready now. Isometric sketches. Isometric dot sheet is such a sheet divides the paper into small equilateral triangles made up of dots or lines. To draw sketches in which measurements also agree with those of the solid, we can use isometric dot sheets. Let us attempt to draw an isometric sketch of a cuboid of dimensions 4 × 3 × 3, which means the edges forming length, breadth and height are 4, 3, 3 units respectively. Step 1. Draw a rectangle to show the front face. Step 2. Draw 4 parallel line segments of length 3 starting from the 4 corners of the rectangle. Step 3. Connect the matching corners with appropriate line segments. Step 4. This is an isometric sketch of the cuboid. Note that the measurements are of exact size in an isometric sketch. This is not so in the case of an oblique sketch.
Study the given examples.
Here is an oblique sketch of a cuboid. Draw an isometric sketch that matches this drawing. Solution: isometric sketch of cuboid is given below. Viewing different sections of a solid. Slicing game. Here is a loaf of bread. It is like a cuboid with a square face. You slice it with a knife. When you give a vertical cut, you get several pieces as shown in the figure. Each face of the piece is a square. We call this face a cross-section of the whole bread. The cross-section is nearly a square in this case. A third way is by looking at it from certain angle to get different views. You have learnt that a three-dimensional object can look differently from different positions, so they can be drawn from different perspectives.
Study the given examples.
A given hut can have the following views: top, front and side. Front view, side view, top view. A glass can have the following views: a glass, side view, top view. Now look at the different views of a brick: top, front and side. Front view, side view, top view. We can also get different views of figures made by joining cube. Solid made of 4 cubes. Side view, front view, top view. Solid made of 4 cubes. Top view, front view, side view. Solid made of 4 cubes. Side view, front view, top view.